My girlfriend's sister has this super sketchy boyfriend, and I'm going to out him. I'm going to let everybody know how weird this dude really is, and I don't care if it ruins the relationship with my girlfriend and her sister. Sometimes things just have to be done.
Hey everyone, so I'm in a really weird and tricky situation right now. A bit of background, I'm a 21-year-old dude. I've been with my girlfriend Zoe for about a year and a half now, and things have been mostly great between us. We met in college, clicked instantly, and it felt like one of those fairy tale romances, you know? Anyways, a few months ago we decided to take the big leap and move in together, but because rent is sky high in our city and we're both trying to save up, we ended up moving into a 2-bedroom apartment with her sister, Laura. Now, that's where things started to get complicated. From the get-go, I had a feeling that Laura was not too thrilled about the idea of living with us. She's older, like 24, and she's been living independently for a while. She has this whole been there, done that vibe. She's the kind of person who has a story for everything and has her life seemingly all figured out, or at least pretends to. But I thought it was just gonna be some minor adjustments and then we'd all get used to each other. At first seems okay. We set up some house rules, divided chores, and even had a few game nights together. But then after the honeymoon phase of moving in was over, I began to notice a change in Laura's attitude towards me. It's hard to explain, but it's like there was these little passive-aggressive comments, you know? For example, we'd be watching TV and a commercial about a gym or something popped up, and she'd say stuff like, "Oh, OP, maybe you should think about joining." Or if Zoe and I had a small disagreement about something silly, Laura would be quick to take her side and say things like, "Zoe deserves better, you know?" Just like small digs that started to add up. But hey, I thought maybe she's just protective of her younger sister, and maybe she's just going through something and taking it out on me. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, so I tried to keep the peace, you know? Brush it off, keep my distance a little, and give her space. Then the rumors started. One day, I'm hanging out with my buddy Chase, and out of nowhere he asked me, "Hey, is it true that you cheated on Zoe at the party last month?" Well, I was stunned. I've never cheated on Zoe, and I would never dream of it. I asked him where he heard that, and he said somebody told him but did not specify who. But the way he looked at me, like he doubted me for a split second, man, that hurt. Over the next couple of weeks, more of these rumors started to circulate. Like that I was seen flirting with some girl at a club, or that I was bad-mouthing Zoe behind her back, or that I was secretly jobless and leeching off of Zoe. Every single one of these claims was false. But the more I tried to defend myself, the more guilty it seemed. I was racking my brain trying to figure out where these stories were coming from, and then one evening I overheard a conversation that blew my mind. I was coming back from the store, and as I approached our apartment door, I heard Laura talking on the phone. She was saying something like, "Yeah, he's a total loser. I don't know why Zoe's with him. You should have seen him with that blonde girl the other day." And so on. I felt like I was punched in the gut. It was like everything clicked into place. It was Laura. She was the source of all these rumors, but why? Was she trying to break Zoe and me up? I didn't know what to do. Confronting her directly might cause a massive fight, and telling Zoe without evidence could backfire, so I just kept quiet and tried to gather more proof. I started noticing more things, like Laura whispering with Zoe's friends when they visit, and then the weird glances that they'd give me, or how she'd conveniently, quote, forget to invite me to the gatherings with our mutual friends. I felt isolated, man. Like the whole world was against me, but the worst part, Zoe started acting distant too. I don't know if she's hearing these rumors, or if Laura's saying stuff to her directly, but something's up. It's so frustrating. I love Zoe with all my heart, and it's killing me to see our relationship getting strained because of some baseless rumors. I need your advice, guys. Should I confront her, gather more evidence, or talk to Zoe? Please help. Update number 1. Hey again. First, I want to thank everybody for their advice and support after my last post. A lot has gone down in the past week and I just needed to share. After I posted last time, I decided to take the most common piece of advice you guys gave me. Talk to Zoe. I was nervous as hell, but I knew it was necessary, so I chose a calm evening when both of us were free, and I started the conversation. I tried to be as gentle and non-accusatory as possible. I explained what I heard, how the rumors had been affecting me, and the concerns I had about Laura's involvement. Zoe looked shocked, to say the least, and there was this long silence after I finished talking, and I could see her processing everything. She admitted that she had heard some of these rumors, but had brushed them off, thinking they were just baseless gossip. However, she was completely blindsided by the idea that her own sister could be behind them. She told me that she trusts me, but she also could not believe Laura would do something like that. Then things took a turn I wasn't expecting. The next day, while I was at work, Zoe decided to confront Laura directly. Now, I wasn't there, so this is all from what Zoe told me later, but this is how it went down. Zoe straight up asked Laura if she's been spreading false rumors about me, and at first Laura laughed it off like it was a ridiculous question or something. But when Zoe pressed on and told her about the conversation she had overheard, Laura's face apparently went pale, and she looked super guilty. Laura then started crying and said she felt overwhelmed and pushed to the side ever since we moved in together. She confessed that she had indeed been saying more things about me to her friends, but claimed she did it out of pure frustration. According to her, she felt like Zoe was spending all her time with me and was neglecting their sisterly bond. She said it was never her intention to hurt Zoe, but she just wanted her to, quote, wake up and see what was happening. I honestly don't know what to make of this. I get that she might feel left out or jealous, but spreading false rumors about me, that's a whole other level of messed up. Zoe was devastated. She told Laura that, well, what she did was unacceptable and that she needed time to think. Things in the apartment have been super tense since then, and Laura's been avoiding the both of us, and Zoe's been trying to process everything. She's been really quiet and distant, and it's breaking my heart. I want to be there for her, but at the same time, I don't want to push her away further. A couple nights ago, Zoe and I sat down to talk again. She admitted that she felt torn between her loyalty to her sister and her relationship with me. She said she loves me, but she also can't imagine cutting her sister out of her life. I told her I don't expect her to choose between us, but I can't keep living like this. These rumors have taken a toll on my mental health, my anxiety, and it's hard to feel safe and secure in our home with the Laura there, especially after everything she just admitted. Zoe suggested maybe we should consider moving out and finding a place of our own. It sounded like a good idea, but it also meant breaking the lease, which would be super expensive. Plus, I can't help but feel like if we moved out, we're just running away from the problem. On top of all this, some of our mutual friends are now acting weird around me, and I don't know if they believe the rumors or if they just don't want to get involved, but it sucks feeling like I'm losing my friends over this. So here we are. A week later, and things are even messier than before. Zoe and I are in this weird limbo. I'm constantly on edge in my own home. Should we consider moving out? I'm just so lost and don't really know how to move forward. Update number 2. Hey everyone, back with another update. Seriously, I can't thank you all enough for being there and giving advice during this wave of emotions. So much has gone down in the past 2 weeks, and things have become even crazier than I could have imagined. After my last update, Zoe and I seriously started discussing moving out. It was a tough decision, but the apartment vibe was becoming too toxic for the both of us. We started looking for places, even considering getting a short-term rental while we sorted things out. But here's where the plot thickens. One evening, I get a message from somebody named Jenna on social media. I didn't know any Jenna, so I was skeptical at first, but her message was unexpected. She said she was a close friend of Laura's and that she had something important to tell me, something I needed to hear before making any decision about moving out. Curiosity obviously got the better of me, so I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. When I saw Jenna, I recognized her from a couple of gatherings at our place. She seemed nervous but genuine. And then she dropped a bombshell. Apparently, Laura had been seeing somebody for the past year, a guy named Rick. But here's the kicker. Rick is bad news, like he's real bad, he's manipulative, controlling, and had a lot of influence over Laura. Jenna told me a lot of the stuff Laura had been saying and doing was not just because of her own feelings, but because Rick had been feeding her ideas and encouraging her to act out. He didn't like the idea of Zoe and me together and saw me as a threat. Well, why, you might ask? Apparently, he felt threatened by my relationship with Zoe. Jenna had overheard conversations between Rick and Laura where he would tell her things like, "Ugh, you need to get that guy out of Zoe's life. Zoe shouldn't be running around with him." Really creepy stuff. I was shook. Like, I couldn't even process this. Why would this dude even care about my relationship with Joe? And why was Laura listening to him? Jenna said she decided to come forward because she was genuinely worried about Laura and did not want to see her ruin her relationship with Zoe over some manipulative guy. Armed with this new information, I went back home and talked to Zoe. I showed her the messages and told her about my conversation with Jenna. Zoe was as shocked as I was. She had no idea about Rick or his influence on Laura. The realization that her sister was probably in a toxic relationship added a whole new layer of complexity to the situation. But here's where we're at now. We decided not to move out. At least not immediately. Instead, we want to help Laura. Zoe's convinced that if we can somehow get Laura away from Rick and help her see his toxic influence, things might get better. As much as I'm hurt by everything Laura's done, I can't help but feel bad for her, especially if she's caught in Rick's web. We've also looped in some of Laura's closest friends to try and form some kind of intervention or support system. The main goal right now is to get Laura to open up and see Rick for who he truly is. But it's going to be a delicate situation and we need to tread carefully. So here I am, stuck in a drama I never signed up for. It feels like a dang soap opera. What's the best way to approach this? And seriously, who the hell is this Rick guy? And what's his problem with me? I need some answers. Update number 3. Yo, I'm back, and whoa, I've got a story to share. If you thought things were wild before, brace yourselves, the drama's been turned up 1,000. After my last update, Zoe and I, along with Jenna and some other friends, began planning an intervention for Laura. The idea was to confront her about Rick, make her see his manipulative ways, and offer her support. We all wanted to be there for her, but with every plan, there's always the potential for a curveball, and boy, did we get one. Jenna told us that Rick frequently hangs out at this club downtown. Zoe and I decided to pay it a visit, just to get a sense of what he's like in his natural habitat. Honestly, part of me wanted to confront him and understand why he was so hell-bent on tearing me and Zoe apart. We went there one evening, keeping a low profile, and I was prepared to see him being sleazy, maybe cozying up to a bunch of girls or something, but nothing prepared me for the truth. There he was, holding court in a VIP section, and who do you think was sitting right next to him? Laughing and joking? My ex, Rebecca. Now, Rebecca and I had a rocky breakup about 2 years ago. She could not handle me moving on and made my life pretty miserable for a while after we split. But seeing her with Rick, it was like somebody dumped a bucket of ice-cold water on me. It all made sense now. The random animosity from Rick, the whispers and rumors. Rebecca must have fed him stories about me, and I had no idea they knew each other. But there she was, sipping champagne next to him, clearly enjoying the drama that she was causing. I wanted to storm over and confront them, but Zoe, being the voice of reason, held me back. She reminded me that causing a scene would not help Laura. We left, but my mind was racing. I felt anger, confusion, betrayal. I needed to do something. Revenge? Yeah. I admit the thought crossed my mind. I wasn't going to let them play puppeteer with my life. The next day, I dug around, called in some old favors, and guess what? I found out some pretty juicy information about Rick. Turns out he wasn't as squeaky clean as he portrayed himself to be. He had some shady dealings, things he definitely would not want getting out. I took this info to Zoe. At first she was hesitant, saying that we should not stoop to their level, but I could see the fire in her eyes, and we decided to expose Rick, not just for Laura's sake. Oh no, but to ensure that he would not manipulate anybody else. With the help of Jenna, we threw a little party and invited a bunch of people, including Laura and Rick. Midway through the evening, with everybody gathered, Zoe played some incriminating recordings and shared some documents proving Rick Shady's activities. The room went silent, and that smug look on Rick's face was wiped clean, replaced by pure panic. Rebecca, realizing she was on a sinking ship, tried to distance herself a bit, but the damage was done, and Laura, visibly shaken, confronted Rick. He tried to spin some story, but nobody was buying it. He left in disgrace, and we haven't heard from him since. Laura, though initially defensive, eventually broke down, admitting that she was trapped in this web of lies, and it was a bittersweet moment. On one hand, we exposed Rick, but on the other, the damage to our relationship with Laura was done. I know what we did was risky, and some might say vengeful, but sometimes you've got to fight fire with fire, right? Update number 4. Hey everyone, if you've been following this, you know it's been a whirlwind. But here we are, 2 weeks later, and I think I can finally give you the closing chapter to this mess. After the party and the explosive reveal of Rick's shady dealings, things seemed to settle down. But life has a way of throwing you unexpected twists. Laura moved out. Yeah, didn't see that coming. After the confrontation, she felt humiliated, betrayed, and wanted a fresh start. She went to stay with an aunt out of town, and as for Zoe and I, well, things were strained. We were both proud of standing up to Rick and Rebecca, but the collateral damage of our actions weighed pretty heavy. Laura was family, after all. I could tell Zoe was torn between anger and her sister and guilt for the way things played out. And then there's Rebecca. Man, if I thought she was a vengeful person before, it was nothing compared to the aftermath. She began to smear campaign, posting wild accusations about me online, and, well, a lot more, trying to paint me as a villain. At first, I wanted to fight back to expose her lies and set the record straight, but Zoe and I decided it wasn't worth it. Instead, we lawyered up, ensuring our bases were covered in case things escalated, but there's a silver lining in every cloud. With everything that went down, Zoe and I became a united front. Our bond strengthened, and we learned to rely on each other. It felt like us against the world, and in a weird way, all the drama solidified our relationship. Then, last weekend, something incredible happened. We got a call from Laura. She wanted to meet and talk. We agreed, and she showed up at our apartment looking, well, different. I don't know, more mature, more composed. She began to apologize, admitting that she let herself get influenced by Rick and regretted the wedge that she drove between us. Zoe and Laura shared an emotional hug, tears flowing, and in that moment I felt a weight lifted off of my shoulders. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Laura also expressed her resentment about how we exposed Rick in such a public way, feeling like she became collateral damage in our vendetta against him, and honestly, she had a point. In our haste to expose Rick and Rebecca, we never really considered the ramifications for Laura. As the evening wore on, we talked, cried, and most importantly, we listened. By the time Laura left, it was clear that while things would never go back to the way that they were, there was hope for rebuilding a bond. So here I am pondering the choices I've made, and part of me feels justified. Rick and Rebecca were toxic and needed to be exposed, but the cost of our actions and the rift it caused, the pain it brought, it leaves me wondering. Well, while the dust has settled, the echoes of the past few months will linger. Zoe and I are considering moving to a whole new city, starting fresh. We've been through so much together, and it feels like the right time for a new chapter, away from the memories and the drama. So, I turn to you guys to ask, am I the a-hole for everything I did? While I don't regret standing up for us, I can't help but think about the collateral damage. Was it all worth it? Let me know what you think. Comment number 1. Oh, just another casual day in life, huh? Exposing shady exes and sneaky boyfriends while tearing apart families all in a day's work. But seriously, while Rick and Rebecca sound like grade A drama queens, maybe a more private confrontation would have been less nuclear. I mean, the public humiliation was a tad overboard, but hey, who am I to judge? Entertaining read, verdict, everybody sucks here. Comment number 2. Okay, I genuinely feel for you. Relationships, especially with vengeful exes, are hard. You felt cornered and lashed out, but I can't help but think of the collateral damage, especially your relationship with Laura. Still, standing up against toxicity is essential. My heart says not the a-hole. Comment number 3. Breaking it down, you tried to protect your relationship. Check. Exposed the manipulative individual. Check. But did it in a way that caused emotional distress to an innocent party? Check. While I commend your intentions, your execution was questionable. My take, you're the a-hole, but only by a margin. Final comment. This story honestly broke my heart. Everybody's just dealing with the pain and betrayal, and it's a mess. You've tried your best, given the circumstances. It's a tough call, but for the sake of understanding, complex situations like this don't always have clear villains and heroes. Not the a-hole, and hoping you all find peace.
Well, we can kind of tell that this story was ending on a good note with Laura and OP, and it looks like Rick is out of the picture for good. Good riddance. I do want to hear your thoughts about today's story. Yes, it was impactful. Yes, this was not a normal story that we cover. This one went deep. I do want to know your thoughts about it, guys. Usually on Mr. Reddito's Revenge channel, I like to do 2 stories, but this story was rather long, almost 30 minutes, so let me know what you think about 1 long story or 2 medium stories. Go ahead, drop your opinions in the comment section. I would love to hear it. Once again, my name's Mr. Reddito, and if you want daily revenge stories, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. No one's stopping ya. I'll see you tomorrow, and remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.